morning. Happy Monday to everybody. I hope you all had a great weekend. I did. I had a nice weekend. I spent a lot of time watching Sherlock. So, yes, I have recently gotten into Sherlock big time. I'd never watched the show, and somehow in the course of like 2 weeks, I've watched every episode. So that's what I did this weekend. I watched Sherlock. Although I did do some schoolwork, I'll be honest, I did. I am loving the difference cozy minimalism is making in my life. I find that now that I'm not so stressed out at home, now that I have a little bit of like meal planning going on and the house is just always clean, I'm in a better frame of mind and it's not as stressful anymore doing schoolwork at home. I don't do tons of it. I really am trying to, keep a lot of the work here at school and trying to budget my time at work more efficiently. But yeah, it's making a world of difference. I am loving cozy minimalism. And yes, I'm putting that word cozy in there because I do know when you use that word minimalism on YouTube, if people are very strict about what minimalism is and isn't. And personally, I think minimalism is whatever works for you. But yeah, so, haters gotta hate. So I'm throwing that word cozy in front of it because I'm definitely, a cozy minimalist as opposed to one of those people who owns nothing but black clothing and lives in a completely stark white house with nothing in it. So, yes. I did not put up videos last week because I actually gave myself a vacation. The whole month of December, you guys knew I was doing Vlogmas. Even after Christmas came and went, that was when I started Project Me. And even though I was loving doing Project Me and I was embracing it wholeheartedly, I was still throwing up a video a day. And then January rolled around and I was still working. It's like, you know what? I never really took a vacation from the vlog. So that's what I did last week. I actually gave myself permission to take a vacation, and it was nice to just be a teacher and a mom and to have a week off of vlogging and to just cut myself a little bit of a break for once. One thing I wanted to share with you guys was how I was coping without having a teacher planner or a grade book, because my planner was both of those things. And you guys have known for a while, if you've been following my channel, that I just use a printout from our school website to take attendance, and it prints out a 2-week attendance roster. So this way I can just kind of walk around the room, go check, 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 then come to the computer and input the data into the computer and take the attendance very quickly and smoothly. Well, our computer system also has what they call checklist rosters. And so I just have now been printing out a checklist roster, and I label the assignments down here on the bottom. As I'm grading papers, I record it right here. I like to do this on a roster because this way when I go to put the information into the computer system, it's already alphabetized, so I don't have to sit there and go up and down, scrolling back and forth on the website to enter the grades. I literally just start at the top and enter the digits, down arrow, enter the digits, down arrow, and I can enter the grades into the computer much quicker. So, because that was the thing I was most worried about, was giving up with the plan book, was how was I going to record the grades? Well, one sheet of paper is all it's taking, and I don't even really take this home, or actually this weekend I did take it home, but I just took home one sheet of paper instead of that thick, heavy plan book. Also, for my lesson plans, a lot of you asked a question about this, and I mentioned this in my video Wednesday that I uploaded, or actually I haven't uploaded yet, but I will be going, Wednesday will be my favorites video. And so this is from TRUFFLE.com, and I'll link it in the description box below. This is called their large document clarity clutch, and it's just a cute little pouch that has a little snap on the top, and I love it because you guys know I'm all about cute, and I thought that was like a nice pink color. I will say this is expensive. It was like, I want to say like $40 to buy this, but it holds my plans in here. It looks very pretty on my desk, And if I can't have my big pretty planner, then at least I can have something really nice to hold my plans in that makes me happy when I look at it. Today I'm actually really excited because we are starting for math. We are learning, we've been working on fractions for a while, but now we're going to be working with how fractions convert into decimals, and I love teaching this. I love math, I really do. I know a lot of my videos are very reading focused and what's going on in reading, but I am a self-contained teacher. I teach all subjects except for the specials classes. And when I'm talking about my partner teacher, I'm talking about the other fourth grade teacher in my building, but as far as like partnering goes, we kind of get together to talk about where we are, what we're planning. We might coordinate a few lessons here and there, but for the most part, I really am on my own and I am responsible for all subject matter. So I have a very full day. And so today though, we are moving into fractions as decimals. And so I love to teach decimals with money. It just goes together naturally. I think probably all teachers start teaching fractions to decimals using money, but so like today I love a visual aid. So one of the things I will do is I will hold up this to the children and say, okay, how many pennies are in this dollar? And they'll say 100. And then I'm going to literally take a pair of scissors and cut the dollar in half and say, I have half a dollar. What would half of 100 be? 50 cents. And I'll write that decimal point on the board and I'll put, half equals 0.50. And then I'll cut that into fourths. I go, now I have 4 pieces of a dollar. What would each fourth be worth? What coin represents fourths of a dollar? And then we'll go into quarters. And then I'll take a second dollar and actually cut this into 10 strips to show them that, dimes are tenths. So it's a very easy way to visually demonstrate how you can get decimals out of fractions, because I think a big part of the confusion is getting that visual representation. Our children today, because of YouTube, because of internet, because of the games they play, they're very visual learners. So anytime that you can bring in something simple like cutting up a piece of paper money, but it's concrete enough that they can get that visual image, I think that's always incredibly important. So that's what we're doing for math today. My munchkins are at lunch right now, and the math lesson went perfectly. By the time I finished cutting up the dollar into halves and fourths and tenths, and then we even cut the tenths in half to make 20ths, they totally got it. There was only 3 kids who didn't understand the concept, and so then once I pulled out base 10 blocks and showed them, repeated the lesson with base 10 blocks, it totally clicked for pretty much everyone in the room. That was awesome. So, and this was the page we were working on in our math journals. So I actually was able to get 2 lessons in today, turning the fraction wheels into fractions and decimals, and then even moving into the base 10. We spent a lot of time in the beginning of this chapter building a real foundation for fractions. I'm actually several lessons behind where I should be, but since I built that foundation, I seem to be moving a lot faster now than I would be if I had done a lesson a day, which is what you're supposed to do with everyday math. It's with this group, especially with the language barriers, it's really not possible to do a math lesson every single day, even though you're supposed to. But because I did take a longer time in the beginning with hands-on materials, like I said, I seem to be trucking along at a much faster pace now, and even the ELL students are being successful with this. So that's a good thing. So it is lunchtime. My friends should be joining me very soon. They're just dropping their kids off in the auditorium because it's an indoor recess day today. So, but with that, I'm going to shut down for now because I'm going to eat my food. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Okay, I just have to say, I miss the sun. I get to work and this is my view. It's pitch black and the sun has not been seen in my neck of the woods for like easily 2 weeks. We have had 2 weeks of rain, fog, gray skies, more rain, more fog, fog, gray skies. I feel like I'm just living in this world of perpetual gray, and I need the sun. I understand this is Michigan, this is winter, but usually Michigan in winter, especially like in January, it's cold usually. We have not been that cold this January. It's actually been in the 40s most of the month. And so we'll have these days where it's, 20 degrees outside, there's snow on the ground, but you just have these crystalline blue skies and this amazing sun shining down, and then the white snow is reflecting the sunlight. And so I'm used to being somewhat bright in January, but right now, oh my God, the gray, it's getting to me. It's wearing me down. I actually found myself yesterday watching the movie Under the Tuscan Sun just because I wanted to see sunshine in a movie. Even if it was fake sunshine, I wanted to see it. So yeah, I really need this weather pattern to break, but it's actually not predicted to break for like another week. If you look at like the weather for Michigan where I live, it's like cloudy and rain, cloudy and rain, cloudy and rain, like every day for like the next 5 or 6 more days. Like, no, I need sunshine, people. And here's the irony is I'm not a sun bunny. I usually shun the sun, but yeah, I'm getting a severe case of winter blues, people. And it hasn't even been that wintry. It's been more of a perpetual, never-ending spring that makes no sense in January in Michigan. So, anyway, now that my rant is over, I just got here and I am getting ready to do some things today. Today for English, we are going to be working on this one. I like this one. This is called Making Energy from the Moon, and we're actually going to use this for a close reading lesson. I have been reading this book right here, TDQ Grades K through 5, Text-Dependent Questions, Pathways to Close and Critical Reading. And mind you, I have not read all the book yet. It's still a work in progress, but I have been reading it and taking notes on it. And I know close reading is nothing new. It's been around for a very, very long time, but it's new to me. Because I've been working on Daily 5, and I had to basically self-teach myself Daily 5 until a couple of years ago when I took the course in the college course in Daily 5. So, I am really, really fluent in anything Daily 5, even remotely Daily 5 related. But I don't do, as a rule of thumb, whole class reading lessons. I do like a 10-minute mini lesson or a little focus lesson that's based on a text that then can become a cafe menu item that goes on our wall, or that is something that can be translated to their personal independent reading, and then I go straight into independent conferencing or groups. But with the close reading, I find I'm liking it. I've been doing it once a week, and like I said, I am not an expert. I'm basically skimming the surface here. I have so much to learn on it. But with the close reading, I do like the fact that I hate to say this because it sounds so bad to say this, but it's kind of aligned with a standardized test. The children, when they take these tests, they're given passages to read, and then they have to make connections to the reading, infer from the reading, draw conclusions from the reading. And now these are all things we do for Daily 5 or when I'm doing my focus lessons. So I'm not teaching anything that's new. I'm still teaching things that I teach in the whole room through the Daily 5 lessons themselves, but I like the routine of everyone actually having the same text, an on-grade level text. So for some of them, yes, the passage is a little bit above them, but let's be honest, most standardized tests are a little bit above them. So I like the way that you can go through and they read it all the first time. We ask questions, we write on the paper, we highlight things, we circle words. Because one of the things I noticed last year and the year before when my students were taking the M-STEP test, the M-STEP computer test actually provides them with highlighters to highlight things in the passage on the computer, sticky notes and different tools to use while they were doing their reading M-STEP. I didn't see any of my students using those tools. Like none of them. I think I saw one child in 2 years actually like highlight something that they thought might be important. So by using the close reading one and teaching them to underline sentences that may be confusing, circle words they don't know, and how we're going to use the context to define that word, I feel like I'm hitting on some very specific skills. And then you read it the first time and you ask some broad questions. You have the class read it a second time and you have them start asking questions and questioning each other. Then you even read it a third time, and that's where you can kind of start going into comparing and contrasting and inferring and all that stuff. So you start getting into deeper and deeper questioning on the passages they're reading. And I don't know about other states, but here in the state of Michigan, starting next year, our evaluations as teachers, 40% of our evaluation will be based on how well these kids do on their standardized testing. And right now there's like rules in place that, if you go like 3 or 4 years and, you show that the kids aren't doing well in this test, they're talking about revoking teacher licenses. It's like, are you for real? Like, oh my God. So is there a little part of me that feels like, maybe I should teach to this test a little bit? Yeah, there really is a part of me that feels like I really do need to teach this test just a little bit, because as you guys know, I'm in an inner city school district, so I'm dealing with massive poverty. I'm dealing with children who have a severe lack of resources. I'm dealing with an ESL population. I still have 7 kids in this room who barely speak English and still don't really read or write in English at all. They can write basic words, like I am, go store. Something like that. It's a very broken, very choppy English. And now their test scores won't count against me this year. But like the current 3rd grade class, by the time the next M-STEP rolls around, they will have been in the country for over 12 months. So like the current 3rd graders, when they're 4th graders next year, their test scores will count against my evaluation. So talk about feeling trapped or feeling like you are just in a no-win situation. To just know that next year, like 1/4 of my class will be language deficient in English, and yet their scores count against my evaluation. It's not right what they're doing to teachers. It is really, really not right what they're doing to not just me, but all teachers. They're putting us into no-win situations. So I'm going to stop rambling though, because I get really passionate about this and I can go on for hours. But I actually do need to get busy and get some things done before the kids arrive today. Good morning, happy Wednesday. I've only been in for a short time and I'm getting some things ready for today. I wanted to stop though and take a moment to talk about our writing yesterday. I have, been teaching writing for years, and I'm used to teaching the writing process. This is not anything new to me. Seriously, a long time I've been teaching the writing process. But yesterday I did something different. In the past, when I've done peer editing, I've always paired them up. Sometimes I assign the partners, sometimes I allow them to pick their partners, sometimes I design partners based on, I know I have a strong one and a weak one, things like that. And peer editing for me has always been something that has been a mixed bag of results. Well, yesterday, instead of putting them in groups of 2 for peer editing, I actually put them in groups of 3. And wow, what a difference that made. I was really surprised at how well peer editing went yesterday. You know, they had their rubrics out, they had their checklists out, and you had real discussions going on about the work. Because in the past, whenever I've done peer editing with just groups of 2, they would swap stories, they would very quickly read each other's story, make a few little marks on the paper, and then pass it back. But because there was groups of 3, one person had to be the reader so that the other 2 could hear. They weren't just reading it to themselves anymore like they were in the past. And there's a huge difference between reading something in your head versus reading something out loud. When you read it out loud, your ears will catch the mistakes that maybe your eyes won't catch. And also when you're reading out loud, if something's wrong with the writing, you get stuck and you trip over the words. And so they really caught the mistakes yesterday so much better than they would if they had just been in groups of 2. So from the rest of this year, I will be doing peer editing as a 3-sum instead of a 2-sum, because I was amazed at the difference it made in the editing process. It's something so simple, putting a third person in there, but it worked so much better. Plus, instead of just reviewing one paper and then giving it back to its owner, they were reviewing 2 works of writing that was not their own. And when a problem arose in the writing, you would literally see all 3 heads together rereading that sentence, talking about, well, this doesn't make sense. What if we try this instead? No, that doesn't work either. Okay, well, let's write it this way. I was just blown away by how well it went yesterday. And I know I'm repeating myself, but I really am. I was amazed. I was stupefied that after all these years of teaching writing, it never really dawned on me to have 3-sums for peer editing as opposed to partners. So if you're looking to improve your peer editing, yeah, groups of 3, way to go. Today, I have a half a day for me. The children are here all day, but I do have to leave this afternoon for some personal business I need to take care of. So I need to get some sub-plans set up for this afternoon. And I am glad, though, that I will get my math lesson in this morning. And I'm thinking about bumping Daily 5 to the afternoon so that I can pull social studies in this morning. Report cards are next week, and I really need to get that social studies test in before Friday. Usually social studies is taught in the afternoon, and if I'm not here this afternoon and I miss a lesson, there's no way I can get that test in by Friday, and I need to test Friday because the grading window on the system shuts down Sunday night. So yeah, that's what I'm going to flip my classes today, social studies in the morning, and then we do need to still finish our stories that are from the principal. He assigned us a writing topic, If I Were the President. He thought that was an appropriate topic for January since the inauguration happened. And I will say I worked really hard with the kids because a writing topic like If I Were the President is not one that I would usually pick because I find the children, they take it in a silly way. I'd give my mom $1 million and I'd give my friends mansions and we'd all, get fancy cars. I really wanted them to look at this topic seriously as opposed to just being a fluff piece. So we made an anchor chart and we talked about what are the roles of the president, what are some things you would want to do. And so here was the list that the kids and I kind of generated together. One of the big ones was to make all schools equal. My students are really aware of the fact that, our school is not necessarily as nice as some of the ones you would find out in other places. Help homeless, job training, more shelters. My kids wanted free daycare, better playgrounds, swings, monkey bars, and basketball courts at the schools. They did get one fluff piece in there. They wanted less days of school in a week, and they wanted no more uniforms. In our city, they wanted to fix the streets and the sidewalks, and they wanted to enforce laws about littering, garbage, and pollution, and they wanted more field trips. So their stories are actually turning out really well. So between the ideas that they were able to generate and then, you know, the peer editing working so well, I'm actually really proud of the way these stories are turning out. So I'm going to stop talking right now, though, because I do need to get some things done, especially since I have to make some sub-plans for this afternoon. So I will talk to you later. Happy Thursday. I just walked in and the room is clean. Apparently it was a really good subbing in the afternoon. The note says the children were really well behaved yesterday, which I am very grateful for, because the last time I had a sub here, this room went crazy, like really crazy. And so let me put my lunch away. Also, have you guys tried these? I love these. They're like $1.49, pasta, veggies, and you just microwave it and boom, there's lunch. And they're relatively healthy. But anyway, I had to stop what I was doing yesterday morning and have a restorative circle meeting. Let me put this away. So anyway, I have had a really good class this year. I admit, you know, because of the ELLs and I also have the special ed room, I do have children who are working at a very low level in here, but the children, I've said since day one, were really sweet kids, and I've really enjoyed working with these kids. Something happened in January, and when we came back from the Christmas break in January, I started having some behavior problems in this room, and I noticed that the children had started to become mean to each other. There was a lot of moaning and groaning and name calling and a little bit of like cliques, and you know, these two kids were mad at this kid and they're making this kid feel bad, and then over here these kids are picking on this one, and it's like, okay, I'm getting frustrated because I don't like that kind of stuff. I really, really don't. So yesterday, I literally just stopped the class, smack in the middle of what we were doing. I called them all to the carpet, had them sit in a circle so they could all see each other. And first, I addressed the issue. Second, I had the talking piece go around telling them, you know, something that they liked about being in this classroom and something that they didn't like about being in this classroom. And then there kind of started to be a pattern developing from that circle. Then we addressed certain behaviors in the room and passed the talking piece around again, and you know, little by little stories were coming out, and you know, I was getting the origins of these problems, and then we kind of talked about it and solved some of those problems. And then another thing I did during that circle time was talk about group work, because as much as I loved the threesomes for the peer editing that day, I did have a couple of situations where students were like, I'm not working with him. And I hate that. So we talked a lot about, you know, in life, you don't always get to work with your best friends. In life, you have to do what you have to do. And how can we behave and act even if someone that you may not be particularly fond of happens to be part of your group? And so the children talked about how you don't have to bring up a negative thing. You can just focus on the work, get the work done, be polite to the person, even if this isn't one of your most favorite persons in the world. You know, because I'm trying to teach them that, you know, even as grown-ups, you know, I love my coworkers. I've been able to say that for years. That's one of the things I love about where I work. I work with some truly amazing people. We're in the trenches together day in and day out. But I won't lie, do I love every person in this staff as much as everyone else? No, and that's true for everybody. You have your favorites and then you have your not so favorites. But I told the children, would I ever be rude to that person's face, or would I make a comment that would hurt somebody? No, that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be better than that. Let bygones be bygones. Always put your best foot forward. Always be polite. Always be kind. Even if the other person's not being kind to you, kindness wins out in the end. So that's what we did yesterday, and based on the substitute teacher's note to me, apparently it was a worthwhile exercise that we did because the behavior was much better and the children didn't take advantage of my absence to really nitpick on each other. So hopefully we've put out some fires in here. Today is going to be a really routine day. We are going to do our daily 5 this morning. I'm going to be meeting with individual students today because I kind of need to do some check-ins with one-on-one to make sure that they're still in a good fit book level, or do they need to be leveled up or maybe leveled down if that wasn't a good fit for them. And then this afternoon, we are having our social studies test, and I will need to get those graded tonight because report cards, this weekend is a report card weekend. So yeah, all bets are off when it comes to no work on the weekends. I will be working this weekend to get report cards done. And tomorrow's a half a day because the afternoon is Teachers' Records Day. So trust me, I'm going to try to get as much as I possibly can done tomorrow afternoon here at the school, because when you're in your room and you're like kind of shut in, you can get a lot of work done, whereas when you take the work home, you have distractions, you have your children, you have cooking and laundry and all those things going on. So any job that I can do in school, I want to get it done in school because I can get it done in half the time. Whereas once I take it home, a 1-hour job becomes a 2-hour job or a 3-hour job just because of the distractions of life. That's just the way it is. So that is what's going on today. I'm going to see if I can record some things that I might be doing in class today. But yeah, today's nothing monumental. It really is just an ordinary day with some straightforward lessons. Oh my Lord. I don't know what is going on today, but I swear to God, I feel like every one of the kids in my room this morning had like 10 cups of coffee for breakfast. They are absolutely bouncing off the walls. Full scale bonkers. I am so tired. And I feel like all I've done all morning is order them to settle down. Settle down, lower your voices, indoor voices, lower your voices, knock it off! I'm just like, oh my God, but they won't listen. I've done dojo points, I've did that ding, usually that gets them all, and it will. If I do a dojo point for someone who's being like participating or doing the work, the whole class will straighten up and sit up a little taller, but it's lasting like 60 seconds. After 60 seconds, they're all talking again. And then when I take away a point, you get that down. Again, it lasts like 60 seconds. My class is nuts, and I'm going to have a serious migraine by the end of this day because I can already feel it starting in the back of my head. Oh, I know, I'm talking fast. I'm stressed. I'm like really stressed, people. Really stressed. Holy crap, they're nuts. So we did get the social studies test in, thank God. So that is done. I even got them graded while I was walking around. I was grading. But yeah. Okay, I'm gonna sit and chill and catch my breath. And top it all off, I get no prep later today. Yeah, gym teacher called in sick, no sub. Booyah. No, it sucks. Totally sucks. Ugh. Good morning, happy Friday. So I'm sorry I didn't vlog more yesterday. I had actually planned to, but yesterday was so crazy, so insane, that when I left here, I actually forgot to take the camera home. So, because I was going to vlog last night, I don't know what happened in this room yesterday, but at some point, I definitely lost control. I don't know. It's not a full moon. It wasn't Friday the 13th. It's not even Halloween. But yesterday felt like all three of those in one day. It was crazy. And if you follow me on Instagram, you saw that I pretty much walked in my house yesterday, grabbed chocolate chip cookies and a bottle of wine and just like sat down for like a half an hour and didn't move. It was very, very cray-cray yesterday. Let me set this down. Ugh, it's cold in here. So it is Friday and it is snowing, which I will happily take over rain and fog because the sun came out yesterday and everyone was so excited. And it lasted for like 2.5 minutes. We have not, except for that 2.5 minutes yesterday, we have not seen the sun here in weeks. It's just been rain and fog, rain and fog, rain and fog. So, but today is supposed to be snow flurries, still cloudy, still gray. Last night I got some papers graded. I got these stacks done. I took home our writer's workshop because I was supposed to grade this last night. I didn't grade it. We all just agree grading writer's workshop totally blows. Oh, it's so time consuming. And I'm sorry if I'm sounding whiny. It's been a long week. And praise God though, it is a half a day today. The children leave at lunchtime. This afternoon is records day. In fact, I need to turn this on because I actually need to get some grades in the computer. So it is records day today, which I am going to bust butt because I've been trying to not have to take home a million things to do for the weekend, and I gotta give myself props. I took a vlogcation last week, so I had a week off from the vlog, and I did kind of focus in on getting some schoolwork done at home, which worked out really well. So I'm actually like on top of things. Usually the weekend before report cards will come up and I'm just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I gotta do this and this and this and this and this. This time, I'm not like that. Whoa, that was loud. Sorry about that. So I'm not freaking out. In fact, the only thing I need to grade today for the report cards are these writer's workshop stories. So I have one thing to grade. Oh, and I need to collect their response booklets for their independent reading. So I have two things to grade. I'm going to grade their response booklets today to monitor how they're doing on that, and then the writer's workshop. So I will be doing that this afternoon, get those remaining grades into the computer system, and yeah, I'm hoping my report cards are done. I have not even started lesson plans for next week, so I do need to do that. And yeah, that's what's going on right now. So again, though, I apologize for yesterday if I was a little freaked out there, but wowzers, it was just, I don't want to go into details because I don't want to, diverge their privacy, but several kids in here just kind of really were not having a good day yesterday. There were some fights going on the playground at recess and different things going on, and it was just like, okay, we need a pause. We need a timeout. So I went home and I had a timeout. And it involved wine and cookies. So today's going to be a better day though. It is. It's going to be better. Also, I apologize for my hair. Last night, I was like one of those nights where I was like, I really should wash my hair because it's going to look like crap tomorrow. And instead, I just kind of gave my can of dry shampoo a shake. I was like, we're good. It's all good. It's all good. So today is a half a day, and I've kind of suspended the lessons that I would usually teach in a half a day morning because I am introducing the children to something new. Google Documents is not new. Google Drives are not new. They've been around forever, but I have had I've hit one roadblock after another trying to get these programs up and running in my classroom. I tried to create an email address, a Gmail for every student in the room. Well, we had the whole class going, we had all the laptops up, and they were following my directions step by step by step. until it came to the part where you had to enter your cell phone number. They don't have cell phone numbers, so that stopped the entire process right there. I mean, we talk about crash and burn. So we just literally shut down the program and abandoned it, and that was that. I've been waiting for the school district to create email addresses for the students so that they could have their own Google Drives and their own Google documents. And it's, January. The school's not making email addresses for the children. My children, where we live, my children had their own email address as kindergartners. They really did, and they could all log into their own drives and do their own things. Well, I was at a math training. We came back in January, Wednesday, the third day back to work, I had to go to the Math Institute. And I learned how to cheat the system. Now, this may be old news and you may already know it, and I may be like the last person on earth to learn this. That's a possibility, it really is. But I was really, really excited. So what I learned was to create a new G account for myself, because I have my personal Gmail that's connected to my YouTube and my own drive, blah blah blah, but to basically create a classroom email account. And once you do that, then you go into your drive and create a folder for every student there. And let me see if I can pull this up. So I'm not going to focus in too closely because I don't want to show all the kids' names, but basically, if you look here, you will see all these different folders and tabs. And all of those folders have my students' names on them. And now the whole class can log into that Gmail account. And it's basically, I'm not going to say it on here because I don't want other people logging into it, but it's a Mrs. Bietler's class Gmail account. So now all the kids today, we're going to pull out the laptops. Everyone's going to log into that account, and then we're going to go step by step teaching the children how to log into this account, how to get into into my drive, basically the classroom drive, and find their personal folders in the drive. Today they're all going to log into Google Documents, create their very first online document, and then save it to their folders. I am hoping that this will revolutionize the way I teach Writer's Workshop in the classroom. Like I said, in my children's school district, this has been the norm for years. Even as early as second grade, my son Casey was basically doing his Writer's Workshop on a laptop. And he was happy with it. He liked it. It makes the writing process a lot easier. It really does. So that is what I'm hoping that I can get going today. Today's a great day to do it because it is just a half a day. It's also a good day to do it because I'm probably going to have some kids absent. I only have 27 fully functional laptops. 3 of them right now are having problems. So if I have the full class of 30 here, right off the bat, I'm going to have 3 kids who won't have access to a laptop. So because it's Friday, parents usually run into complications with drop-off and pickups. So their odds are high. I'll probably have 3 or 4 kids absent today, and then they can learn how to do this one day next week. I can have them sit down with me as a small group, and I can teach it to them. But yes, that's what I'm doing today. And the fact that I finally, after all this time, found a way to navigate the system and create a classroom drive, and that they can start doing documents on an actual word processing program is amazing to me, because our laptops have a word processing, it has Windows in there, but I find that the laptops are not new laptops. They're older. They're those netbooks, and the Windows, the Word program in there, it either is drawing too much memory, or it's too outdated, or something is wrong. Because anytime you try to use that program, it glitches and it'll shut down on you. And then if you've typed something in there and it shuts down, it's like lost. It's just gone. So that's one of the reasons we haven't been using the laptop for Writer's Workshop until now. And Also with the laptops, when you're using like Word Perfect or something, Microsoft Word, it can't be saved to a single drive. So this way, by them now doing writing in Google Documents, saving it to the classroom drive, I can be at home, open up each one of their little folders, read their writer's workshop right there on the spot, enter a grade, and boom, done. It's all in one place. I don't have to try to print all their papers and take the printouts home, because it's very expensive to get ink for the machines, and the school doesn't buy our printer ink anymore. About 4 years ago, the school basically said, we're just not doing it. If you still have a printer in your room, you can keep it, but it's now on you to buy your own toner for your printers. So the last thing I want to do is print, 30 to 60 sheets of paper a day because they're working on their writer's workshop. That will burn through my toner super duper fast. So yes, I'm very excited that I'm now going to be able to do it this way. And my fingers are crossed, and I'm hoping and praying that it all goes off without a hitch today and it just works. I just want it to work. That's it, folks. Just work. I have had enormous technology headaches this year. Every time we try to do something with technology, I swear it just crashes and burns. We've had so many hiccups, so many glitches. These laptops are old. They don't always work the way they're supposed to work. This year though, or not this year, today I feel like I'm having a miracle. A miracle is happening. I'm gonna sweep around, just give a quick little glance here. The children are all, the entire class is on Google Documents right now. It's up, it's running. It took us a while to get them all logged on, to teach them the process, and I'm sure come next week I will most certainly have to repeat the process of logging in and doing all of that again, but hopefully by the end of next week they'll have it down, they'll know how to do it, it'll be good to go, and I can now have them doing the writer's workshop on the laptops, which is something I've always dreamed of doing, and they're loving spell check. They like, Miss Bietler, it helps you spell the words. Like, yes it does, which is great for the children who are still learning English as a second language, and they're learning how to tab and shift and do all of these great things. I am so happy. Whereas yesterday I was crazy and you guys saw the video, I was pretty crazy yesterday. Today, complete opposite day. Holy crap, it worked, people. It actually worked. So excited. So now the only thing we have to do is they're working on a story, and they're gonna have to save it to their folders. So that's the next thing I have to teach them how to do, and hopefully that will go off without a hitch and nobody loses a document. Wish me luck. So I'm at home now, school's over, and I managed to get my report cards 100% done, which is amazing. I don't think I've ever done that before, get my report cards done before the weekend even began. So that is done, and then I also got my lesson plans finished except for the writer's workshop. I do need to still do the writer's workshop portion of my lesson plans, but otherwise those are all done too. That's a great way to go into a Friday evening. One thing I did bring home was the reading series. I have not used the reading series in several years, actually. It's probably been about 4 years since I've actually used our school's textbook reading series. I adopted Daily 5 years ago, and I just stuck with it, and it's worked for me. However, this year, I feel like Daily 5 isn't cutting it. I'm not exactly sure. Well, part of it I think is for Daily 5 you have to have student motivation. You have to be able to trust that you are giving your students work and that they are actually indeed doing the work. And so, but this week I did a lot of meeting one-on-one with my students during Daily 5 time, as opposed to just doing small groups or something. And as I was working with them, I noticed a lack of progress Usually with Daily 5 in years past, you know, if they come to me at a level 24 in September, they're usually up to a 30 by October. And then by November, they're up to a 32, or a 34 rather. And by, you know, this time in January, they should be at about at least a 38 to a 40. I have very few students this year reaching the levels I feel they should be reaching. I'm not doing anything different than I've done in years past. But I think this year I have a class that's just not inspired or motivated to be independent. The choice doesn't seem to be sparking that passion for reading the way it has for me with my previous classes. Even last year's class that I had, that was a tough class. That class wore me down. Even, you know, as difficult as that class might have been behavior-wise, management-wise, they still made those huge leaps in their DRE2 levels that I was accustomed to seeing with the Daily 5. So one of the things I want to do this week is take a look at the reading series and see, maybe this class, there's a fuzzy on the lens, maybe this class isn't meant to do Daily 5. Maybe this class actually needs a more structured reading routine. There's no point in continuing a program that, you know, I'm accustomed to having success with it, but I don't feel like the success is there this year. I don't see these huge gains in their reading, and that concerns me. It concerns me a lot. So if there's a problem, I need to address the problem and do an about face and try something new. Maybe that means directed instruction, or maybe that means doing Daily 5 in a different way. I'm not sure, but that's one of the things I want to spend time working on this weekend. So, and I will, next week when I vlog, I'll let you know how it goes or what decisions I've made. But with that, I am going to go ahead and close out this week's teacher vlogs. I have a feeling this vlog's like an hour long because I've been vlogging every day this week. So with that, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you liked it, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more from me and my class in the future, be sure to click the subscribe button, and I'll talk to you guys later.